Right into it. Let's take a look at what both teams are playing.
My God, I mean, we might end up seeing a Hazard here. Is this going to be a first time, Steven?
I think so, and you know my feeling about Hazard. I am not that big of a fan.
Well, look, Hazard Vendetta might prove for a good dive. More of the same coming out from the side of New Haven as we get things started.
Absolutely. It looks like both teams are going to be moving to point, and with Winton on that dominant, it's going to allow for a lot more sustain and pressure with the help of that Bastion. It looks like Molloy University is trying to set up and get a good dive in, and they're moving quick with it. I like what I'm seeing, and because that decisiveness, they were able to get a pick onto Kami on that Bastion, and another now onto Winton, and they are just going to clear up the remainder of that point.
Man, just at the drop of a hat, instantly that fight is over. You could see SOS Rebellion on the Vendetta eking out on that top right high ground, waiting for the perfect moment, and as soon as that Vendetta dove in, it was over for the team.
Yeah, and I you know how I feel about Hazard. It is a hard character to dive with, but when they have that team organization like they did on that first dive, you could get a lot of value, especially with Vendetta on your team.
It's an instant switch coming out on the side of Winton, immediately going to the Sigma, seeing if we could get a different look here. Rocking Hazard, that's already showing its fulfillment right there. They're going to try to push further onto the point. SOS Rebellion trying to hold them off, but eventually they will back up off of the objective.
And that's where the Bastion comes in so importantly. Getting that damage off before they can make that dive is exactly what they need to do every single fight to make sure that they keep this point presence.
Winton's still looking to clean up a few kills, but eventually he'll back up to the rest of the team. We're now approaching the point where teams are getting their ultimates online. I mean, we've got almost a full bar for both of these two teams.
And we are having an Emery ult come out quick, but it gets denied instantly. And now another pick coming in from the side of New Haven with one in return from Molloy University. It looks like this Hazard is trying to make some space and keep this fight going. And they have a lot of damage from Venture coming in, but it might not be enough. We have a Mizuki ult coming out to keep this point presence for Molloy.
That's going to be one you regret if you're New Haven, but they're going to look to retry this. Hazard going down me like turtle, immediately getting rocked out, and they're going to get for a quick rotate here. Winton immediately peeling off towards the front of the objective. It's just Vendetta who immediately gets rocked as well. This Sigma already showing dividends.
That was amazing how quick they were able to retake that point there. That's exactly what you want to see on a very fast controlled point map.
And I mean, look at all the ultimates still on the side of New Haven. I was going to say it was a mistake that they didn't use any of them after that huge rock onto the Emerald, but they immediately get a beautiful retake in, and now they're set themselves up wonderfully.
We have Baptiste window up and Emor in return after that quick dive in, but it looks like the damage just comes out from Molloy University, even with ults on both sides. Reaper ult now coming in return, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Well, it's funny how quick these things go sometimes. I mean, that 4 ults immediately all down the drain and nothing to show for it. That is not the kind of result that you want if you are New Haven. They're going to try and, I mean, get some sort of value out of this fight while they continue to build up ultimates, but time is running out.
This is going to be the last fight, no matter how you look at it, and it looks like Molloy University will have a slight ult advantage. New Haven really having nothing and not anywhere near it.
Winton approaching the checkpoint, trying to get in with the hazard, but he gets chained, having to use the accretion to get out, trying to hold his line, but Vendetta's doing so much damage in that front line. Hazard ult coming out,
Oh
it
my
gets
God!
Winton, it gets Bastion. It's a huge combo on the side of SOS Rebellion and Me Like Turtle, and that is what you want to see out of your ultimates when you have an advantage. Timer clicking down, and the first point will go to Molloy.
I mean, just such a perfect execution of that Hazard plus Vendetta combo. I saw it getting set up, but when that Hazard ult came in, traps them in place so perfectly in a perfect line for that Vendetta, nothing tastier.
It's just dirty. I mean, you know, we talked about Slasher maybe going on to something else with the Kiriko being banned. We saw a Baptiste. Immort went down for that combo there, but unfortunately did not get a ton of results out of it. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see a switch onto Mizuki maybe, a couple of DPS changes. Kami on the Mei looking for a different look on this more close range map.
And we are moving in quickly. I'm really interested to see how this Mei is going to possibly change the tide of this fight. It's not my favorite pick into the Hazard. He has that mobility to get around it, and he can wall climb. He can climb right over it.
Well, I mean, Hazard's going to jump in on his own. Rock going down. Winton already in a troubling spot here. Immort having to go out, and a rotate is needed to get back to the objective. Immort gone, trying to keep the pressure in. Denizen trying to force the Hazard out, but he gets dove, and immediately it's just the same front line tearing UNH apart.
It was such a quick fight. After Molloy makes that first engage and gets the Hazard in quickly, they have so much damage with the Vendetta swings, with the Emery grenades, and it looks like in return, University of New Haven is choosing to go to that Winston.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. When Winton's back's against the wall, this is sometimes what he leans on. We'll see if it pays dividends here.
New Haven looking to get it set up. They're already taking a lot of poke damage. Winton losing half his health before the fight even begins, and that's exactly what you need to do to make sure you can't get counter dove there. Now they're healed up, taking their time, looking for this second engage, opting to go around the right side as well. But as they're trying to do that, Hazard takes a huge dive onto the back line of University of New Haven, splitting the front line and the back line. Now, it looks like we have picks on both sides here, but it's going to be about which team could sustain longer and regroup, and it looks like that's going to be Molloy.
My God, this Vendetta is just eating them alive right now. I don't even know what to say about it. This back line is just, it's so much harder. Like you said, the key is sustain, and it's so hard to sustain that dive and the Hazard, and the Vendetta are in your face.
This has the chance to be the last fight, and if you look at those ultimates, it is looking good for Molloy University. Winton trying to get set up for this first jump, backing up just a bit as Me Like Turtle is able to keep that point presence. New Haven opening up with that Denizen Bastion ult, in return Mizuki ult, and it's just everything at this point. Both teams using everything, knowing that this is the end. It looks like New Haven is able to get a good grasp on the point and gets a pick onto Molloy University, and a second coming in. That should be a deciding factor to close out this fight. They just need to keep this up, and they do. They take off Molloy and secure their first capture of second point.
Well, it's wonderful support, keeping the Bastion alive, Denizen keeping pressure onto Me Like Turtle, and I think that's going to be the key to how they hold this objective. They have to keep the pressure on this Hazard, punish him when he gets a little too risky here, like they did earlier in the first point.
Yeah, and you know what? Molloy still has so many ults. They open it up with Orbital Ray and Emery ult. We have Mei ult in return, but it doesn't even matter. It's too late. The damage out of Molloy was too immense.
Gosh, I mean, the clock is still winding down. It's just Winton with the Primal Rage looking to make some sort of space. But the Point gets flipped. 99% overtime timer
that's
going
it.
down. And that will be
That's
the
it.
end of the first map.
What a quick map and what an amazing showing out of Molloy University.
Goodness me. I mean, where do we even start? It's hard to really get any feedback out because that was all just so fast. I'm sure it felt even faster for the back line of UNH, just trying to keep up with the pace. That is that hazard. That is that vendetta. I mean, you got to wonder if we see some sort of reaction in terms of the if it's my opinion, I think that was their best look, but I'm not sure Winston was going to play it anyways. We're going to see maybe a Domina, maybe a Winston going into this first objective, but we're also going to see a Kiriko coming back, so we'll see how that influences things.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. And Eichenwald, very different. It allows players to really take their time and go through the map at their own pace compared to Control. So we're going to be loading in about 10 seconds and seeing exactly what each team is going to be rolling with for this second game.
Well, the timer ticks down as we see these two teams rolling out. And once again, we're going to be seeing more of the same from both of these two teams, honestly. We've seen Onron coming out in replace of the Vendetta for the side of Molloy. But really, we're looking at more of the same. Still got the Kami Bastion out. Still got the Winton Winston. It's just going to be Denizen now on the Venture that we saw just last night.
Yeah, and they're sticking with that dive. You know, I think Onron is actually an amazing pick. At this rank, it's very hard to play into, a lot of survivability, and they're going to be able to replicate that same success from the control point with those dives with that Onron.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hope that they can get that same timing down on this defense. It only takes one mistake to give up the first objective. And
it looks like we are in the quick play game mode. So we will be going back to the 2-box and allowing them to restart. I love NA.
What is there to say?
I mean,
what is there to say, Steven?
It happens to the best of us. I mean, it wouldn't happen in my tournament personally, but it happens to the best of us. That tournament is called the Svenji Meta Showdown, happening April 26th.
Interesting. I must have forgot. Yeah. I mean, look, we're going to try and get a restart here on the map, but I wonder how that's going to play out. I mean, both teams kind of revealed their hand a little bit there, right? I'd imagine they're going to stick with their guns, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. We're going to see 2 dives coming out, one a bit more long range, this half dive that we talked about on the side of New Haven, while Molloy is continuing to try to put pressure on the back line like they did so well in that first point.
And with both teams knowing what they're going to be playing, I have a feeling that it actually won't change too much. Because I don't think New Haven knows what they just lost against. And they know it's probably going to happen again. Now, I think the greater advantage might be on the side of Molloy, and maybe they could get 1 or 2 swaps in to kind of counterpick just exactly what New Haven was running there.
I mean, to some extent, but also, I got to wonder if it's worth switching up what's clearly been working. They didn't think so originally, right? I mean, this Hazard, I guess they're going to stick with it. They're going to bet New Haven can't seem to adapt to it. It's interesting. I'm not sure how much Hazard New Haven has actually seen in these professional games so far.
Not much,
but they're going to have to try to figure out a solution pretty fast here. I mean, you've only got a couple more maps left.
And look, this map is going to determine really the energy going into the third one. If UNH gets rolled here and they can't adapt to the Hazard dive, it's going to be quite the battle, uphill battle, to try and confirm this series. And that's just not how you want to go out last game of the season.
No, I mean, especially in a league where there's so many teams that appear to be on that upper echelon, you got to make sure you establish yourself when you're playing someone in your weight bracket, This is, a puncher's chance here on the side of UNH. You would hope that they can prove that they're still there. They're still able to hang with some of these teams. Molloy's the one they got the best shot at right now.
Yeah, I agree. And, I would love to hear what goes into the mental of New Haven after last night's game, and if they just get rolled today. I mean, that could genuinely impact their second playoffs match. You want to go into it with that high energy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Look, you're only as good as today's games. You might have had a lot of success yesterday, but the fact is, none of that matters if you don't end up carrying it into the next day. We heard a lot about Slasher. We heard a lot about how his team is more on the even-keeled side. So we'll see if maybe they continue to stay low-key here, continue to, calm themselves down here, continue not to make mistakes of their own volition.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to be going back in soon. I don't know how hard it could be to switch a game mode, but it might be just beyond me.
I'm not really even sure what to say at this point. Are there... Oh, it looks like we're winning on the side of New Haven. They've been asking for an R.
Huh.
I haven't gotten anything back. I don't know. Maybe New Haven's just trying to discuss how to approach this. This is very confusing for me.
And it looks like we will be getting our professional spectator back in just a moment. So this next game should be a lot more fun to watch.
Well, I mean, you did what you could, Steven. All right, well, we've got a ready on the side of UNH, so we're hoping to get back into this match rather quickly. Still going to have to wait for all that time to tick down before the main exhibition starts. But we're going to probably be expecting more of the same, I feel, from both of these two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were just barely able to get our spectator in for this next map. So we should be golden. Let me just make sure everything is going to be perfect here for the stream.
Well, the timer continuing to tick down. We see a reveal of these two teams. And again, it looks like it's going to be more of the same. I don't think I see any changes from either team here. Slasher going to the Kiriko now that it is no longer banned. But we're going to see them stick with the Mizuki on the side of Molloy.
Yeah, and let me just double check to make sure that we're getting gameplay audio here. Oh no.
Oh no. We
Looks
get
like
20
we
seconds.
might not be getting gameplay audio here from... Oh, wait. Let me try switching back real quick. We might miss this first fight.
Well, the timer is about to kick down, so we see UNH ready to take on the first objective here. Still waiting for some sort of dive in. They're reaching towards the objective. It's a Winton dive onto the top bridge. Still looking to get some pressure down. Instantly drops. Maybe just to see. Staying patient. But it's Hazard going into the back line. Immediately pressuring Kami. A counter dive from the side of Slasher. Keeping him alive. And suddenly it's the Hazard in trouble. Unable to get out. And that's a huge first pick on the side of UNH. But it's Denizen in the back line. Unable to get any value. He goes down as well. It looks like UNH will continue to stroll onto the point despite that. And immediately, a first pick and a first point taken from the side of UNH. I mean,
I love it.
So much pressure on that
I love
Hazard.
it.
That is what we were waiting for, Steven.
And it looks like we do have gameplay audio back. Thank God. So thank you, Kyle, for carrying us through that first fight. And look, they needed that, and they got it. And let's keep that same energy up. When it comes to a dive v dive map, New Haven might just have what they need to make it happen.
Well, immediately, it's another pick on the side of Winton, jumping up, getting that Emra, and they're going to have to back up even more. You see New Haven just immediately trying to eat up all that ground that they just took on this high ground, this castle here on Eichenwald Point 2.
Yeah, and Winton does not want to stop. He wants to keep rolling and pushing, and he did exactly that fight.
I mean, these two fights have gone so quickly. We're not even seeing any ultimates really coming online here. Just more of the same fundamentals from these two teams.
And it's been great. They have one more fight, and they insta-take second point. Now, Denizen is in deep, looking for a pick. Not able to get it, and is punished in return. This sets up Molloy to finally get what they need and take a fight. Winton diving in, trying to make something happen, while in return, we have Sorzabellin in the back, trying to take out University of New Haven, but it won't be enough from University of New Haven's side. They just go down one by one.
Winton diving onto the objective from the back line and getting hit by the Hazard shield, or the Hazard rock, bouncing him off the map. Look, for this Denizen Winton, if you're going to be playing this half dive, you both have to be playing together. You have to be on the same page, just like what we saw from that Molloy dive on the first map. I'm not seeing that so far.
Absolutely not. And now we're going into this next fight with a lot of ults. Denizen trying to be risky, going deep again and getting punished again.
No, I mean, we're going to need a reset here if we're on UNH's side, because these two are just not on the same page so far. I'm not liking how this looks.
They don't want to. They commit a Bastional and in return get the Mizuki ultimate out there. But for what? For what?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the objective here is, honestly. Maybe Denizen's slowly getting out from getting picked on his own again. But yeah, honestly, like, we got to see this. That's just the bottom line here. Denizen and Winton have to communicate here and jump in at the same time.
Winton deciding to just go in with Primal, not even using it when he was low, and I don't see any value coming of this in my eyes. And this is a messy battle. We have half of New Haven up on the high ground. Looks like they finally get taken down by Me Like Turtle, and this honestly probably should be a regroup and reset from New Haven, but it looks like they're committing.
I mean, we might have switched off of the quick play preset, but this looks just like quick play, if you're asking me. I don't know. I mean, I'm just not seeing any real fights coming out. This looks like a playground here.
Yeah, and it's not good. This same fight is still going on, and Kami barely surviving. Scratch that, dying right when they use Path to try and take this back. And they're just cleaning it up. They're mopping the floor with New Haven now after such a successful first two fights.
Someone's got to be a leader here if you're UNH. I mean, we all have to take a collective deep breath and play as a team here.
And going into this next fight, we do have ultimates on both sides of the board. Winton taking a very quick and aggressive dive onto that high ground and getting pushed off. Not what you want to see.
Well, they're going to continue to try to put pressure on this Hazard, and honestly, I like it. He's getting low. We're going to see what this dive continues to do from that point on. It's SOS Rebellion trying to get more pressure in, trying to stop them before they play. This slow approach goes down but gets two. And we're going to see if maybe UNH tries to push in here. No, they're going to take a deep breath and wait for the reinforcements.
Yeah, and that was hard to see. I mean, time after time, we're seeing New Haven engage when the whole team isn't ready. I mean, it's hard no matter what because the Bastion really can't take that high ground. Winton jumping in and just dying. You can't keep doing this over and over.
I mean, you didn't even get to finish your sentence when it happened again. I don't know. I think, honestly, here what I'm seeing is a very big difference from what we saw in that last game just yesterday. You know, this is a lower pressure environment, but it seems like they're starting to lose their cool a bit here. We see a switch onto Roadhog for Winton. Denizen on the Reaper looking to abandon that dive.
I mean, the Roadhog, it's not a good pick into this. And we're opening this next fight up with another Kami Bastion ult before the fight even begins. And the Roadhog trying to be sneaky, walk up onto the high ground, and it might pay off. The Juno doesn't know, gets hooked and killed. Maybe this is what they need. But at the same time, Kami just dying again because that Bastion has no mobility against this dive. Now, picks are getting traded back and forth. It's pretty even here. It's a 3v3, but we have Orbital Ray out on the side of New Haven. Another pick comes in for New Haven, making it a 3v2, but the respawns are coming in quick from Molloy. They're going to be able to sustain and come back, but New Haven staying together and staying alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very late stagger on the side of Me Like Turtle, but they still have 4 ultimates to try and stymie this second point push here. We'll see what they do with it.
They try to get an Emery ult off, and he's surviving. He's getting the damage in, and with the Orbital Ray and the Mizuki ult, they have unlimited resources to keep this battle in their favor. Wow.
I guess if you're UNH, you take that. I honestly think they got more distance than they probably deserved. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. Somebody's got to figure something out here because honestly, it didn't really matter what comp you're playing. You know, when it comes to team chemistry in this game, it doesn't really matter what you end up playing, if it's right or wrong, meta or not. You just have to be on the same page. There has to be some sort of game plan that you guys follow here. I really liked what I saw when they tried to put pressure on the Hazard. I think it worked out well for them, but that sort of game plan just kind of collapsed once they got to the second objective.
It did, and I really hope University of New Haven doesn't take the wrong lessons from that Roadhog swap, and it looks like they're not. They're going back to their true and tested method of Domina, Symmetra, and Bastion on this defense, which I do like into a hazard dive, but they have to play it tight, and they have to play it coordinated.
Yeah, I mean, I think we still need New Haven to prove that they have what it takes as a team to stymie this hazard. I mean, they've shown flashes of it, I think. I mean, we're going to see if this Domino provides a new look to maybe kind of slow down the momentum of Me Like Turtle, but we'll see if that continues on or if they continue to lose their cool here.
We're moving into this first fight of second half, and this will really determine exactly how the remainder of the series is going to go. Can Molloy open this up and just clear up map 2? Winton taking quite a close range position there, but it pays off as Styx is able to get a pick onto Julian. And now as long as they don't get too overzealous, and it looks like they do! Winton dying in a position that he did not need to be in. And with that, Molloy University is just going to be able to walk in and really should be able to just take this first point with 3 minutes still on the clock.
Ooh, it's just more the same. Honestly, it doesn't even have to do with team comps or anything. It just feels like UNH is kind of losing the plot here, spiraling out of control. Somebody has to calm things down if they want to make any sort of progress here.
And Molloy just running it down. I think they must die here, but no! The SOS Rebellion gets a kill onto Slasher, and it looks like Me Like Turtle barely doesn't make it out, but what an interesting game we have here.
I mean, spawns are going to be coming in here. It's just, you got to hope that neither team gets too hasty while they do. Winton getting hit in the back line by SOS Rebellion. Is he going to be able to hold off the pressure? No, he goes down. That's not what you're looking for if you're UNH here. There's just no sense of stability here. And the card is going to continue to push whether UNH likes it or not.
And this could really be it. They don't have too many ults on the side of New Haven. They're going to build quickly, but they need to build that quick. And Slasher, iconic kunai kill before the fight even begins. We have that hazard ult coming in, though. That does a lot of damage, and the battlefield is a bit even here now, turning into the to the side of Molloy, and all that's left is Winton, and he just jumps off. I genuinely don't know if they have a reasonable touch here, like a meaningful touch.
I mean, that was a dagger of an ultimate. That was nasty from the side of Me Like Turtle. Still a whole ton of ults in the bank here for UNH.
Oh, no.
But you have to
They may have waited
make
too
use of
long.
it.
They waited too long. Oh, they waited too long. That's game 2. Just like that. I saw it coming. Oh, I know that their comms are not looking good right now in the side of New Haven.
I mean, I've seen worse rolls from the side of UNH. Like, I remember watching that West Virginia game where they seemed a little bit outclassed. Not that I don't think they can reach that echelon.
that dive, which we know New Haven could do well. They had a couple good fights on dive there. Banning the hazard makes it so that they might have the dive advantage.
I think there's a couple of things here that are actually very interesting. We saw them playing the Gibraltar yesterday, and it was one of the more entertaining maps from the side of UNH. Winton probably going to end up leaning back on that comfort Winston pick, but Venture's going to be banned. So I don't know if we're going to see this Denizen Tracer that we saw get played out a little bit yesterday. Not really able to fall back to that Venture now. But yeah, I think this is probably as good as a shot as they've got as trying to reset and put themselves in the best spot to get comfortable here.
I would agree. Let's switch over and see exactly what these teams are going to be playing.
Well, what we've got here is kind of more of the same from the side of New Haven as to what we saw just yesterday. Kami playing the Vendetta, which we saw a little bit of as well, now that it's not banned. But interestingly enough, we don't see a Vendetta on the side of Molloy. It's actually going to be a Genji looking to replace that Onron and Vendetta that SOS Rebellion has previously played.
It looks like we are going to have that Monkey Mirror matchup with some very interesting DPS picks on the side of Molloy. Winton already has to use Bubble, loses half his health, and still jumps in and gets booped off the map. Kyle, we talk about the energy of a team. That energy was just decimated.
I think everything that you could have done to calm yourself down in between these 2 points just immediately gets erased by that. That's as triggering as it gets. I would commend Winton a lot if he plays well from this point on, honestly.
100%. And now Molloy has a lot of long-range damage with that Ashe, and honestly, the Genji too. Winton trying to make that jump in with the Venture. The Venture is able to get some good damage in, but not before they get antied and killed instantly. Winton's bubble breaks down and might have to be pressured out. It looks like he's able to hold high ground for now, but they're rotating to cart. Both teams moving to cart. Winton going back to high ground to try and pressure out this Genji who's poking down New Haven's backline, and this is just a poke battle through and through. Kami makes it back, so they're going to have a bit more damage with that Vendetta, but misses her strike up into the sky, so it looks like the remainder of New Haven is just going to go on the cart and try and take the fight there.
Yeah, I mean, Kami got rinsed in that first point, but there's a ton of space made. We'll see if it plays out the exact same it has so far. Winton getting 3. This is exactly what we talked about here. If he ends up making a difference here, I would be thoroughly impressed with Winton's Winston.
100%. And honestly, that wasn't the most amazing fight. And it looks like we are going to get a contest here. We have Me Like Turtle and Julian on point. And now we have the Vendetta, SOS Rebellion, back as well. They have a real chance to hold this. Supports are coming back in. Winton trying to isolate them off for New Haven. And a lot of damage, but with Primal and with all members of New Haven up, they cap the first point with a huge time bank remaining.
That was good. Honestly, I've really criticized what we saw out of the Venture and the Winston on their dives in the last map, but I actually love what I'm seeing here from the Vendetta Winston here. I really kind of like the timing they have. I like how they're complementing each other with the space that they're creating. You got to hope if they could keep it up here.
Yeah, 100%. And we're going into this next fight quick. Slasher opening up with his classic kunai kill. Not a headshot this time. We'll give him it anyway. And it looks like Me Like Turtle is going to have to back up after his bubble breaks. Path coming out from the side of New Haven. Winton slept when he's trying to make that initial dive, but the damage is still coming out. New Haven kind of low, and in return, getting picked out. It's even on this battlefield right now, a 3v3 with a single support up on the side of New Haven, and it looks like it just won't be enough. New Haven getting picked out, but wait! The Winton-Kami duo is able to take down 2, and now we have respawns coming in. Me Like Turtle is not going to be able to take out Kami, who is on 1 health, allowing New Haven to keep this cart progress pushing.
Oh, that's an unadvised dive from Winton, though. That is rough. We're going to see if Kami can maybe pull things back together with it all. Get Orange Blast to go down.
Huge.
Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. It's just hard with Winton going down easy. Look, I don't want that to deter them. Maybe they're feeling themselves a little bit here, but they've looked tremendous so far, especially Winton. I've loved the pressure he's put on the back line while peeling the back. It feels like he's covered this entire map so far. Try to continue that momentum.
Yeah, and it looks like they're still trying to fight this, and they're getting the picks. The fight that never ends, and it puts New Haven in a great position to just cap it, even after they lost the initial fight.
Well, I mean, Winton gets back the reinforcement that eventually comes in, getting one more just to save the day here. And we're going to be steamrolling onto third point, almost 4 minutes left with a couple of ults online.
It looks like that hazard ban was exactly what New Haven needed. In this monkey mirror matchup, Winton is controlling this battlefield and does it again, taking an early jump in. Tommy not able to make it swing though, goes down to Julian. Winton says it's not over just yet and gets a return pick, but with that nano coming out onto Me Like Turtle, that should just allow for a lot of cleave, and that's exactly what happens.
And, you know, we haven't mentioned it yet, but you know, SOS Rebellion looking at the situation going, okay, I see what's going on here. It's playtime. We're switching back to the Vendetta. We've got a mirror on the front line for those two characters. We're going to see maybe if UNH can continue to prove that they can play this better.
And the battle's just still going. It feels like these battles just never end with these two teams.
I want to say Oso Slasher's done a tremendous job of supporting these two diving in. We're going to get Kekai coming out. Winton still trying to put pressure in. It's a stick on the Denizen. Orange Blast going down. Kami trying to put pressure in the back line. Winton with the Primal Rage helping follow suit. And this is suddenly a total switch in the momentum for the side of New Haven. This is exactly what we wanted going into this map.
It really, really is. That primal out from Me Like Turtle, though, is going to be huge to try and stall that cart progress and allow for one more major fight. But University of New Haven has these ults. They need to pop them quick, and they need to pop them first. And there it is. Path comes out. Slasher gets slept, though, it looks like, with that. Able to wake up before he gets picked off, and trades are getting put out onto the battlefield here from both sides, and the cart is inches away. We have an Emery ult coming out, but E is just going to get picked down before he could do anything, and this is New Haven's point to cap.
Wow. Well, I mean, we're talking night and day here, aren't we? That was splendid. That was really just splendid. I think going to that last point, you know, we saw that with the Primal Rage being drained out from Turtle, there just wasn't a lot on the side of Molloy to contest it. Julian at 85-ish% on the Emerald. That was your timer there. You got to finish the point before he gets any value out of it, and they did exactly that. Wow, I mean, you know, we're going to see things change a little bit. I'm sure that's a much easier comp to play on attack here. But I love the chemistry that I was criticizing just a map ago.
It's the hazard ban. Obviously, Me Like Turtle is a big hazard enjoyer, but we're seeing that swap onto D.Va. Now, in the current meta, even with the most recent minor nerf onto D.Va, on paper, D.Va gets more value. Now, in a real game at this rank, could go either way, but has more sustainability, more damage. It could be a really great pick to try and bring this back and bring it to overtime.
You know, I gotta be honest here, Steven, I'm not so sure. I mean, we're seeing Winton Kami, who end up kind of not being affected much by the D.Va and defense matrix. Slasher trying to support them. And Suzu is not gonna really be affected too much by D.Va here. It's maybe just Denizen that's gonna have a little bit of trouble with this defense matrix. So we'll see if anything comes out of it, but I don't know.
We are gonna see very quickly Kami and Winton trying to make something early, but for naught. Kami dying instantly, and now Molloy just taking over the battlefield. They go for a deep dive, and they really spread out both teams here, and it's just chaos. Everyone's going for a different target. Everyone's trying to get their piece of the cake. It looks like Molloy does get a second chance, though, to regroup and gets a pick there, and it looks like finally the tank and the DPS are playing on the same page and are able to confirm some kills, even if SOS Rebellion does go down.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really rough rotation from the side of UNH, but it was already over. We saw Kami really playing aggressive on this Vendetta so far. I think it was really beneficial on that attack, where maybe even a trade isn't so bad, but on this defense, you have to stay calm, and unfortunately, that's just not what happened. Immediately, a switch onto the Bastion.
Yeah, 100%, and it's just continuing here. Another fight right back on the board, and we have a D-Mech. Me likes Turtles, D-Mech, and instantly dying, and that should be the end of that push for Molloy.
Well, it's just one ultimate coming online. It's gonna be Diva ult, actually. Um, but yeah, we're just gonna see more of the same defense. Winton getting caught in the front line. He got chained. That is dreadful. If you're on the side of UNH, how are you gonna hold this with me like Turtle sustain here? I'm not so sure. Kami
so
going down in the front line, and there goes all of your sustain. It's gonna be a slow but sure death on the side of New Haven here, and I'm not sure they're gonna get another touch.
Well, New Haven got some good picks there, and Winton is back. A lot of damage coming into Me Like Turtle, and the support is not there. The D-Mech comes out, and somehow, some way, New Haven gives themselves another chance for this first point.
My God, I mean, I said slowly but surely, but it was slow enough for Winton to come back. That's exactly what they needed to get that sustain back, putting the pressure back on a Me Like Turtle, and suddenly UNH has control of the point once more.
Yeah, it's not what I was expecting in the slightest going into this last fight. And Winton keeping the rampage going with that primal, getting one, maybe getting two if he's lucky, but it looks like he's just using it to waste some time and make some space.
I mean, I think that was pretty good. He got Me Like Turtle out of a remake, killing them before they could get back in. That's a ton of time that's going to be wasted off the clock. Only a minute left now as Molloy continues to approach this defense they've been stymied by.
A minute left, but 5 ultimates on the board. New Haven making a great play, though, opening up with Path, splitting Molloy University. And if they could confirm these picks quick, that could be this second to last fight. But they don't commit to going into that corridor and finishing it off. So now it gives Molloy University another chance to click every button. Kami says, not just yet, though. Opens with that Bastion ult, taking the Emery off the high ground and putting some damage onto point, but the Nano Vendetta's in. Can they sustain it? No. They get picked down, and the damage comes in, and Molloy University finally is going to be able to take this first point.
I mean, I'd love to say that it was an ult advantage that won them the fight, but they still have 3 online going to this next one. I think, you know, like you said, that Path split the enemy team, but it's just scary to enter a room when you've got a sword being swung by SOS Rebellion at the front door, and immediately that Nano Vendetta just completely wiping the back line here.
Yeah, and you know what? They go into this next fight, Molloy University, with still 4 ults, and we see the first one, Bomb coming out and taking out Slasher with the Space Maid. Julian was also able to get a pick onto Kami, and this might just be second point in the bag for Molloy if they could confirm a couple more kills, and they do.
I mean, again, not really much being used in the ult bank here. We're going to see maybe one more touch here, trying to see if we can get any value out of a Pulse Bomb, out of a Kekai, but I'm not so sure, considering the momentum here.
Yeah, we have that Emery ult coming out, making sure that they can't really push up through that top choke, and Me Like Turtle takes down Denizen early when she was on their own, and it looks like Winton is just going to get burned down as well. Even with that Mizuki ult coming out, it's not going to be enough healing and mitigation to stop Molloy from closing this out.
Well, 3 minutes still on the clock here. One more point to adapt, see if we can kind of change the pace of things here. Haven't really been able to get the timing down on the defense as they did on that attack, UNH. We're going to see if maybe they can start to figure things out here.
Yeah, and you know what? Kyle, I think you can finally admit it. I was correct about that Diva pick. We're getting grouped up for this next fight here. Ult advantage in the side of Molloy University still. And actually, as I say that, New Haven gains a couple on the board as well, so this should be a battle with a bang. Which team is going to ult first may just determine it. So much progress on the cart for free, and we get that Nano Vendetta in, and she is going for the enemy, Emre, and she gets it. And now in return, Denizen able to get a pick in the back. Mizuki ult in return, trying to protect the backline of Molloy University, but it looks like New Haven is able to keep up the damage and pick off another member of Molloy. Diva Bomb out to try and keep this sustained, but it is a 5v3 right now, and I would be surprised if Me Like Turtle gets out with that mech, and they don't.
And I mean, that's really important here because we saw reinforcements coming in. Julian going down as well to stymie, which seems like it could be a quick retake here. I mean, there's not a ton online here. We're going to see if Vendetta can make some magic work here. Maybe an Emerald coming in. We got to be prepared for that if we're UNH.
Yeah, we're getting ready for this next fight. Denizen in the backline trying to make something happen. Has that Pulse Bomb. SOS Rebellion also with that Vendetta ult. We're seeing an Emery ult come out of Kami, getting a huge amount of damage in, demeching Me Likes Turtles, and that's going to allow Winton to really come in here and just carve away, cleave away at these squishies in this room, and they can't even run away. He's taking a lot of damage, but Pulse Bomb comes out and gets one, and they're able to clean up the rest.
Really good job at keeping that Vendetta at bay. Eventually, Vendetta just tries to take over the point with 4 on the side of UNH put up against her. Look, we still have some ults coming out. None of those DPS used on the side of Molloy. Maybe they're going to try to keep the pressure on, but I'm not so sure considering what we saw in the last point.
Yeah, it was very interesting. And SOS Rebellion holding on to this Vendetta ult like her life depends on it and dies in this first fight instantly. Now Molloy gets a pick back and they're going to try and capitalize it. They Emery ult, but they fly too high, too close to the sun and get punished for it.
God, I mean, you were looking to get more out of that with Kekai offline, but unfortunately, going down immediately. Winton trying to hold down this front line. Me Like Turtle trying to sustain, keep alive for reinforcements to come back. Maybe SOS Rebellion can get something with the ultimate, but his path immediately pushing them back to the front line. Taco Belly going down. Support line immediately rinsed to shreds. Only 10 seconds left for Molloy to try and finish this series, but I don't think it's going to happen.
They may not even have a touch at this point. Winton did such a good job of keeping them back with Primal, and they don't. New Haven taking their first map of the series.
My God, I mean, if that's an indication of what's to come, I hope we've got a game here, Steven. I really, really do.
And we get that Slasher play of the game.
Slasher did a tremendous job, I want to say, keeping Winton alive, getting picks of his own right. I want to commend that for sure. The paths were on key as well. Yeah, we're going to see maybe a lot of know.
What I think would have been more influential would be a support ban, honestly. We've seen Molloy University play that Mizuki every single map. No, I'm not saying it's the Mizuki or the Ana that is carrying these team fights, but what might have happened if you ban one of those supports is you throw them off their game so much that it just breaks down their composition.
I think you might have a point there, Steven. I mean, honestly, I saw some huge chains on the side of
Yep.
that Mizuki.
Yes.
But I mean, Nando's played Mizuki as well, so I wonder if that's what they're most comfortable on the side of UNH. You don't want to friendly fire yourself here going in to what could be the last map of the regular season.
100%. And we are going to be looking into the game and seeing what both teams are playing right now. Kyle, break it down for me.
I really hope I don't have to break what I'm seeing down on the right side. Okay, and we see a switch. Slasher going back to the Kiriko. Just a slight little scare. It's going to be more of the same on the side of UNH. Kami going to an Emra, which is interesting. But we see a Ramatra on the side of Molloy. This is something that was banned in the first map, something that UNH does not dare to touch. So we'll see if Me Like Turtle can prove that he can go where UNH cannot.
I really do actually like the Ramatra Genji composition. That could be pretty fluid, but New Haven has the damage to combat it. And we are looking to see that real quick. SOS Rebellion surviving by a hair of a health bar. And all New Haven has to do is stay close and make sure that Genji doesn't gank your backline and keep the pressure up on Ramatra's shield with that Bastion. And it looks like that's what they're trying to do. Denizen going into form, getting dangerously low and not really able to get any damage onto Me Likes Turtles. Finally, it comes out and he goes down. The win condition has been met. All they need to do now is push up and finalize it.
I mean, so much pressure coming on to Me Like Turtle. He uses his Nemesis form, but eventually it's going to go out, and that is what kind of is the result of it, especially with a Bastion just completely pelting you with bullets in the front line.
Yeah, it's what they need to do 3 more times in a row, and we take this to a map 5. But I think that Molloy University might be able to adapt. Let's see as we go into this next fight.
Yeah, I mean, we remember the varsity team really not even want to play on this bend when they have the Domina. Ramatra immediately having the high ground. We'll see if this Ramatra Bastion can kind of fend them off.
Oh, and they're moving quick. That's exactly what you need to see out of that Genji Ramatra comp. Go in quick, scatter the backline, and kill him right off. Now, New Haven has a substantial lead there on the robot, so they might get a recontest before losing their pace there.
Yeah, I think with the Ramatra Genji, it's just going to be so much trouble for Domina to play on these bends. They have to try to hold the lead before Molloy can get their own card to the bend, or this is going to spell trouble for the rest of the match.
Yeah, they need to get this damage off onto Molloy University before they make that quick engage, and Denizen does just that, taking out Julian on that Mare Bastion. And with that path as well, the damage comes out, and they're going to be able to retake that robot before Molloy can take the lead there.
And it's just a path, really helping out Denizen, just grazing the front line. Still a ton of ults on both sides here. It's just going to be about who can establish their point first.
Yeah, and we have that signature New Haven Bastion ult before the fight even begins. And it looks like it doesn't do much. Path on the side of Molloy University is going to allow them to move in quick, and that's exactly what they need to be doing with this composition. Damage comes out on the Denizen. The damage output is lowered on the side of New Haven because of it. Emery ult from Kami to try and recover here, but I'll say the saying again, flying way too close to the sun, and I don't think you're going to get anything from it. I'm proven wrong, but I don't think it's going to be the determining factor here.
Well, I mean, look, it might deter them enough for reinforcements to come in. We'll see Domina coming back to the ground. This is exactly what they want to set up on this high ground with the Domina. We'll see if they can continue to deter this Ramatra from pushing onto them.
They are so close to taking this lead, though, and with that beat and Genji Blade out, they have everything they need to finally take the lead away from New Haven.
Me like Turtle gonna have to take a long walk back to the fight though, and look, we have some presence here on the objective. We still have Dominant and Reaper holding the front line. We'll see how long it takes to get them off of it.
Oh my god. And this is a 2v2. Lucio coming back, making it a 3v3, but they might just have a chance to wait for their regroups and keep this out of Molloy's hands.
I mean, Bastion ult's gonna come down, trying to pressure the Dominant, but Dominant's gonna stay alive. And there's still 2 coming up on 3 ults from the side of New Haven to try to hold this lead here.
Yeah, this is just incredible. The ultimates need to come out, and they need to come out quick. Dennison able to get a pick. 2! What is he doing in that back line?
My god. I don't know how they still have the lead going into this, and they still have 3 coming up on 4 ultimates.
It's insane. I mean, they were able to protect that lead with that sneaky back cap there, and because of it, they could continue pushing without any fear for this next fight.
Again, though, this is the weakness of their comp, especially with the Dominant playing around this close quarters bend. They're gonna have to use some ult here. They have 4 coming up if they want to take control of it.
We gotta see it, and we gotta see it now. Path coming out from the side of New Haven, and it looks like the Reaper ult is going to be used to help with that damage, but picks also coming out from Leslie University. I think it is a tied match right now, 2v2, but they're getting respawns incredibly quick from the side of Leslie University, Molloy University, and it's looking like it might just confirm that fight in the side of Molloy.
Very interesting, honestly. I mean, UNH was pretty much allowed to push to the cap point before the fight even started. They used to also try to get a little bit more, not really much comes out of it, but I suppose just by getting the capture point, that's a success in its own right.
Oh, and unfortunately, New Haven barely just loses 1 to old spawn. Or far spawn, but they should be able to regroup pretty quick here, and they're gonna take that fight in close quarters. Lucio Beat comes out from Molloy University. Paths on both sides are a Path and a Mizuki ult here. There's so much sustain and so much damage amplification, and it turns into the tide for New Haven with 2 picks coming out that should help them regain control of this robot.
I mean, you open with both support ults, and you really get most of nothing out of it. You know, I mean, I'm sure the Sanctuary did a lot to repel some of that, but that is dreadful if you're on the side of Molloy trying to take objective of that first bend. I'm not sure how they're going to come back from this.
It's going to be hard. Now, they still do have 3 minutes 30 on the clock. A lot of time for Molloy to do what they need and take that lead. It's not too far just yet, but with every passing second, it's getting farther. We have an Emery ult coming out from the side of New Haven, trying to do some good damage onto the back line there of Molloy University. Reaper with the teleport in the back. He's trying to replicate what he did a couple fights ago, but it looks like he's going to get poked out. All while the front line of Molloy is taking a lot of damage. Genji Blade in return might be exactly what they need to confirm this.
Well, it's nice to get that Genji Blade out, and you're starting to get past the bend. If you're the side of New Haven, playing around that long bridge corridor is exactly where you want to be with this dominant comp. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this UNH side so far in this map.
I really do, and honestly, it's more of a back and forth than the score would tell. And at this point, it is probably going to come down to one major last fight with both teams with probably a similar robot lead here. Now the fight is beginning, and it looks like Me Likes Turtles is going to go down due to overwhelming damage on the side of University of New Haven here, and now they're just walking up with no fear in the world, and it's the same story over and over again. We have a super small fight, and they regain robot and continue pushing.
I mean, it's just been hard for Molloy to sustain themselves in these fights. Always a pick, 2 picks near the start. SOS Rebellion going down right here as they get past the bend. Honestly, 4 ults coming out on the side of New Haven. I love how this looks for them.
Yeah, this might just be it. What they need to go to game 5. Dennison going in with that Reaper ult, gets scooped away and dies, actually, a little overzealous, and this might be what Molloy needs. Path coming out from both sides. This could go either way. The fight is even, but it looks like Molloy does have the tank advantage right now, and because of that and the damage, they're able to clean up the rest of New Haven. Now, they need to win these next 2 fights, Actually, they need to win every fight remaining in this game with only a minute 20 left on the clock. They cannot make a single mistake if they want to retake that lead.
I mean, I think they do have a good ult rotation here, but really, that's just a mistake on the side of UNH. Kami going down instantly. They're going to continue to push this bot as fast as they can. Winston trying to hold down the front line, but it's going to be hard without Kami staying behind him. Genji going in, trying to pressure out Denizen. Denizen using all of his cooldowns to get out.
They got to clean this up right now. Emery ult and Lucio ult coming out. They're trying to confirm a couple kills here, and they do. It's an all-out brawl with the Emery in the sky, but somehow New Haven burns through a couple members of Molloy too. This is a even match right now, and they're still trading back and forth, but the health on Me Likes Turtles is so low that they're going to go down, and oh my God. Once again.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be hard to come back from.
It's going to be so hard. New Haven should be pushing the robot here. They are going to get a touch no matter what with 20 seconds left on the clock. So you want to get it as far away as possible from your spawn. It seems like at this rank they don't understand that as a premise, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We have ults on both sides here, and Molloy does get their touch. They're on that point, and they're trying to move quick. Everyone is pretty spread.
Backing up, still has a couple of ults here. Uses it immediately on the Domina. Me Like Turtle getting rinsed. That's horrible. If you're Molloy University, no frontline sustain. Kami raining down bullets from above. Julian goes down. It's a Genji Blade trying to finish things off, but unfortunately, it's too little, too late. We are going to a map 5.
That's just incredible. And to really break down what happened there in that last fight, both Dominas ulted. But because Winton ulted first, Me Likes Turtles, when they used their Domina ult, it just hit the shield that they were in. It always comes down to who ults first.
I mean, my goodness, that was poetic. And, you know, I think what's really interesting
I really don't know what they could ban. They can't ban any DPS.
Sure.
We're going to see. We're moving into the map in just a minute here, and all of our questions are going to be answered. And we are in game 5, baby. Last game of the season. Everything on the line.
20 seconds before we see these two teams and what they are willing to put down for what is the last map of the season for the ECC. Trying to end this off with a bang, going with momentum into the playoffs. We'll see what they end up choosing.
Let's take a look right about now. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. On the side of Molloy, they're back on their tested Hazard with now a Reaper Genji. I really loved what I saw out of SOS Rebellion on the Genji when they've been playing it. You know, it's not overwhelming, but I think it's going to make a tide paired with that Reaper, especially. So much movement here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a full dive, and it's what's worked for them for the first half of this game. We'll see if they can continue to pick up the momentum when it's been so long since they've done it. Meanwhile, this is UNH's time to prove that they've grown throughout this tournament.
Honestly, I'm not favoring UNH here in this matchup, especially on this first point. We already see SOS Rebellion going for that flank. Hazard jumps in, trying to take out Nando, and it almost happens, and it does. This is just such a fast-paced comp with so much damage. Even with SOS Rebellion going down here, I think UNH should have everything they need. But as I say that, Me Likes Turtles is taking a lot of damage and goes down. Just as I was so sure that UNH was out of the fight, they come right back. And even with that point capped for Molloy University, it's going to get switched back in a heartbeat.
I mean, that's fascinating. Denizen not even in turret form. 2 supports still online and yet unable to keep Me Like Turtle up. That's a tough one. And that's exactly what I want to see from UNH. Keep putting pressure on this Hazard.
100%. Now they are in a much better position here to play this defense against this dive comp. Me Like Turtle coming in quick with a lot of damage. Julian helping him to confirm that kill. And it looks like they're doing the same thing as last fight, but this time without as many errors. They're able to jump 2 members of UNH, take them down quickly, and I foresee the rest of them going down too.
Yeah, I mean, that's getting a little cheeky from the side of UNH. Denizen getting onto that high ground, but he just gets dove off of it immediately in the arms of a Julian, who right now is getting picked. Payback, Denizen taking him down. Maybe we can use this as a sort of speed retake here on the side of UNH. It's going to be Winton barreling down the front line, hoping to get set up before their reinforcement comes in.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to make it. It looks like Reaper's just making it back now, a little late into the team fight. But Me Like Turtle takes initiative And with that Mizuki ult out, they're going to be able to have that sustain if they need it, but they don't. They just push forward, and it looks like they're going to finish this fight.
Yeah, I mean, not much on the ultimate side. Look here. I think this team has got to do a better job, and not that they've been doing bad, but it's just so pivotal here that they keep an eye on Hazard, but also keep an eye on this Reaper. It seems like they've lost where this Reaper has been. Even when he went down, he still surprised them in the back line coming in. This is going to be something they have to keep check of throughout this game.
100%. And with that first point going to Molloy University, they have some great ultimates for this next fight. So many high damage output ults. On the other hand, UNH has a couple counters here. They don't have a really great support ultimate to sustain it. But Blade's coming out, gets one, goes down to the Bastion ultimate of all things. But the remainder of Molloy University is here and has the damage to clean it up after that.
Yeah, I mean, this is starting to rear its ugly head back for UNH. This dive from the side of Molloy is just looking oh so fine. Still 4 ults from the side of UNH to try and force their luck around, but I don't know. It seems like there's got to be some approach change here.
I think it has to be the tank. I don't see the Domino working. I mean, they're just falling apart when Me Likes Turtles jumps in and basically just opens up the entire battlefield for Molloy. Now we're getting set up on this next fight. A lot of ultimates on the board still. We have Path opening up, and we have Kami looking for that Reaper ult in the back line. But this has turned into an all-out brawl once again. Reaper out ult for UNH, and they are able to confirm some kills there. Domino ult comes out too, maybe a little bit unnecessary, but they confirm it, and they're going to take the point back.
I mean, that's good. You know, you didn't end up using much there. Not really anything online for the side of Molloy University. But it's just going to be a steep hill to climb. They did a tremendous job on that fight, but it's got to be fight after fight after fight.
Yeah, and this is going to be a quick one with Molloy University coming back. No ultimates on the side of Molloy, but they are going to get some in the middle of this battle here. On the other hand, UNH does have a support ultimate to help them sustain that dive when it comes in. And it looks like SOS Rebellion takes a huge dash into the backline of New Haven, and it doesn't pay off. And in return, we have this Mizuki ult to cancel out Hazard's ult, and it does just that, keeping everyone up from UNH.
I mean, that was a splendid job of pushing back without extending too far away on that SOS Rebellion dive. Taco Belly going down. There's going to be more trailers that just continue to go down here from Molloy. That's not what you want going to this third point.
No, it's really not, but it puts UNH back on the map.
Well, I mean, as time continues to tick down, going to the third objective here, really, we just have a Kekai online here. Maybe Denizen gets Bastional coming into this next fight. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see. We have 2 points that went very differently among them. I think this third point is going to tell a lot as to who's going to win this map.
Yeah, 100%. And it really came down to their... Molloy wasn't able to get great ults off, I feel like. Kami, once again, opening up the battle with that Bastion ult, forcing Molloy University away from the choke there. Point opens in 5 seconds, and we have a team fight beginning to open up, but Me Like Turtle has to back up due to the damage incoming from that Bastion turret form. Battle is now happening on point. It looks like UNH is trying to take it slow, poke it out, which I love for this comp. Domino comes out and gets 3. Mizuki ult in return. Julian able to get 1, but UNH brings it back with 2 picks of their own. Path all out from the side of UNH to help confirm it and close it up. All while Molloy was actually taking percentage there too. And they're holding it. They're just ringing up the clock. 40% based off 1 team fight. They lost.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a rough one, the way that both teams rotated onto the third point. Molloy essentially just got it for free. And maybe that's a criticism of the way they played. Maybe it's a criticism of this game mode. But eventually, with some hard-fought ultimates coming in, UNH is going to end up taking control.
Now, Molloy does have the ultimates they need to take this fight back, and they open it up with that orbital ray and Reaper ult in return from both sides. Who's going to reap harder? It looks like they actually even the scoreboard, but with that Genji blade coming in, they clean it up.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I think UNH just kind of looked a little bit better on this third point, but by the time we get to this next fight, it's going to be Molloy that ends up having more percentage due to that start. Fascinating Denizen ult coming in.
For the swap.
Oh, they're switching on. Kami's going to end up playing the Bastion now. It's going to be Denizen on the Reaper. We'll see what kind of comes out of this.
Yeah, that's not exactly what you want to see. A swap, not of characters, but of who's playing each character, wasting that ultimate there. But maybe it's exactly what they needed. Last fight of third point here, and it looks like it's beginning with that Hazard ult and return the Mizuki ult to try and protect them. Picks from both sides, trading back and forth. SOS Rebellion able to turn it into the favor of Molloy, and it looks like the damage and support is in favor of Molloy, and they're going to clean this up.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked the Sanctuary answer to these Hazard ults so far. That one just really not enough. It's going to be tough trying to take over that point. There's really only one direction to go, and that Hazard ult is going to end up stymieing it. But yeah, I think this has been a close match so far. It's just going to be up to UNH to bring this to a last point tiebreaker.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very hard to see which way this goes, ending our Game 5 series. Molloy University does have point control first, allowing them to set up for whatever dive they want to do, but this is much more open, and the angles are a bit better for this damagey comp. But even with that, Me Like Turtle and their Reaper are able to go in, take them off the high ground, and confirm those kills.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be more of the same from the side of Molloy University. Still get a couple of ultimates coming online as well. That is not a good look. That is not how you wanted to start off this fourth point. Maybe you get something going with this path here, maybe this Domino ult. But those are two ultimates that are going to be hard to get a lot of value out of. We'll see.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know, that Molloy just does this comp so well when they have the right footing. And on this point, with that tight choke point, they're going to open up with Path to try and break through it on UNH's side, and it looks like they gain a lot of control. Molloy University just really spreading out. They come back to point with that Orbital Ray and Genji Blade, though. Suzu out to try and not try to stop it, but it's not going to be enough. 3 picks coming out from Molloy.
I mean, it's fascinating for Molloy. The Path comes out, and they essentially just kite it and allow UNH to rotate it, or to capture the point. 23% coming out, but they ended up doing a good job. They survived it until it went offline, and then that Genji Blade just kind of turning the tides there. Yeah, UNH's back is against the wall going into this.
This could be the last fight of the entire series, and ultimates across the board opening up, and it's going in favor of Molloy University. Denizen trying to bring this back for his team, but unable to, and just like that, after 5 games in 2 hours, it goes in favor of Molloy.
Yeah, I mean, look, as disappointing as this might end up being for UNH, I really do at least feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about the way that they showed they could kind of drag themselves up from the depths of hell there. But yeah, I mean, I think they've done a decent job here.
Yeah, I mean, it's much better than going out 3-0. I'm proud of how they adapted and how they made some tactical decisions with their bans and map picks, but I think it leaves them a lot to think about. I mean, when you have a team that's just so good at one composition, after 5 maps, you have to find a way to break them down, because once you break them down, they don't have any other options. They can't play anything else on your level. But we couldn't see it outside of that Hazard ban, really. Even on Coliseum. Molloy just wasn't playing the comp.
They struggled. They did struggle against that dive. I think they got outpaced a little bit. It seems like it's been hard for UNH to play that high-octane, fast-paced gameplay.